start?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, hi, I'm Mercy. I'm 23 years old, I think, by now. Yeah, I studied in Amsterdam, but I didn't grow up here. I grew up in Vienna. Did like political science and social science, but mainly I'm an artist, multidisciplinary, so a lot of collages, photography, video editing, more on the visual side. And yeah, that's a bit about me.
Cool. My name is Sangiorgio. I'm 28 years old, born and raised in Belmer, like lived here my whole life. Currently studying art. I'm an artist and I also a filmmaker. I make a lot of, I work from like material and really making like bigger sculptures and moving kinetic installations and deconstructing, reconstructing things I find, and yeah, I don't know, kind of that. Like to make things that are dangerous. Yeah. For me, I think inclusion just means you have to include everyone. And like with everyone, I really mean like every human being. Doesn't matter, like, I don't know, like race, gender, like where you're from or where you're living or if you're handicapped or if you're this or like, I don't know, just really about everybody is like included. Yeah. You know.
I think for me, when I hear the word inclusion, it's like almost like a buzzword now, like diversity, where it just says something, but there doesn't seem to be a lot of meaning behind it at this point. Also, when I think about inclusion, including into what? What do you want to include me in? This, like, into more white supremacy, capitalism, and so on. It's like, and when you see like companies promoting inclusion and it's one black person or one Asian person, that's not enough. It's also not safe. You cannot include somebody into a system that's not safe for the person. I don't want to be included in that. I don't want to be another person included in a system like this. And also, I think a lot of when we talk about inclusion, it's always like talking about this invisible group or something like that. But this group, like, I think black people, refugees, undocumented people, Muslims, and they are very visible. They are very targeted, so they are included, but included in a racist way, in an oppressive way. And how are we going to change that? Because I think with the Belastingdienst affair, we saw that, we are very visible. They are targeting us, and we are included in their system in the means of, getting money back from us, for example, in that case, or something like that. So, yeah, that's kind of what I think when I think about inclusion.
True.
It's
like
not.
Same with diversity, what you said. Like these two words are kind of like just thrown around. Yeah.
I mean, I went to a university, it's called Diversity and Excellence. There were maybe, I don't know, a handful of black people or people of color in general. And then if we talk about different social classes, different bodily abilities, mental abilities, and so on, that immediately gets deleted. We want to do the quick fix where you can see somebody, you can see the inclusion. So you put maybe somebody with a hijab, a black person, an Asian person, and then you think, I've done my inclusion. And then these people are in those systems and they're suffering a lot. They're unhappy. They have to do 3 times more the work than the other people in the institution because you're the only one that has been included. You're the only black person. So now you're trying to make it more inviting for other black people. That's so much work and it's so exhausting. And the moment you do something that's not where they feel like, you're including too much of your black people, they are suddenly like, okay, let me let you go. Because I don't know. That's just my experience.
I mean, when I started studying, I was studying at Gerrit Rietveld Academy, and like the first year, like basic year, you start off with like 160 people or something, and me, another girl, Sena Kirva, and another guy, Jim, who's from Aruba. But from the 160 people, we were like the only 3 people of color, you know, which was quite crazy. And
in Amsterdam.
Yeah, well, the school's in Amsterdam, you know. And well, people all over the world are like studying there, from Italy, from China, from like everywhere. But like, I don't know, it's crazy to think. I don't know, because they also they don't really talk actually about inclusion or something at the school. But you would expect from something such a vibrant or international art school that there will be more people, you know, more, yeah.
But would you say like international? That's also like I feel like universities or institutions use that international kind of as if that's like diversity, but then you have still the same class of people. So there's people who came from abroad who have rich parents, so you are from a specific social class, economic social class, and you can see like. I mean, like, I come from a background, my family, like, they don't have money, so it's really awkward to go to, like, a place, and then it's, like, really expensive, and then, sorry, I think I lost my train of thought, but basically, I think we had maybe the same experience that I also went to, like, a international kind of thing, but the international, they still seem so similar in their lifestyle, and, yeah.
Yeah, what you said, this whole social class is also, like, because if you're studying at my school and you're from another country, that means like you're able to pay like 6,000 a year for the school fees, but also to be able to rent a house in Amsterdam and like all these things. So everyone that's actually not from Amsterdam is like rich or comes from like a rich family or from like a, and that already changes actually the whole, I don't know, like, then it's also in a way not inclusive or something, because that's like you cannot include yourself into a rich social class, you know, like.
Yeah. And then to think about, like, for example, my university was in Amsterdam Oost. We had barely any Moroccans, Turkish, although the neighborhood is predominantly. How can it be that these people live right next to that university, but you have nobody from that neighborhood attending the school? What does it tell you about your own institution, you know, that people in the neighborhood don't feel encouraged to come and attend that school, for example. And for example, in Amsterdam, and that maybe we are only one of the few people from Amsterdam who were studying at that place, and one of the only, with Amsterdam having like 50% being very mixed. It's weird. Also at the UvA, I also went to the UvA. I was the only black person in the class, and I'm light skinned. That's also already like, you can really see like the thing that this is the darkest it goes, or something, like, at least in my class and in my surrounding, and I'm like, you know.
True.
So
yeah, same with me. Like, so like I said, from the 106 people, like only 3 people of African heritage, and I mean in the end everyone has African heritage, but I mean really like like that. But from like the whole school, like from all the years and all the departments, from like the thousands, I don't know how many people are there, I'm the only person from Belmer, for example. Like the only one, you know? Like, well, there's so much creativity and so many artists and so many like talented youngsters and people here, you know?
All the artists I know in Amsterdam are from Belmer.
Yeah.
And that I'm shocked that you're telling me right now that none of them are going to Rietveld. Is it Rietveld?
Yeah.
That's weird as hell. Do you want to say something?
Yeah, I think, I don't remember, I think it was Judith actually, with Never Neverland, but I'm not 100% sure. But someone, I think it was Judith, and they kind of offered this this program where you could like go sort of like do 2 weekends or something and do kind of like a open day kind of ish thing, or sort of like to see like a, for free it was, you know, just like doing like 3 courses or something. And that was for like people or for like under 23 or something, but that was like free, and they could actually really get you started and get you in touch and see that it's actually like possible or something. because I don't know. I think a lot of people like they don't even know that it's there for one, and if you then look at the school, then you also like they also told me with the admission, you know, like I remember even like one of the teachers being like, "Oh, you're from Belmer," but really like I didn't really think about it that much at the moment. I was like also super stressed and shit, but then later when I got home, I was like, in what way did he actually mean this? You know, like he was surprised that like that's for sure, but I don't know if it was in a positive way, in a negative way, or I don't know.
I mean, if I think universities would have or would have to do like a lot, they would have to hire a lot of more competent people, a lot of more like of course black professors if we are talking like only black people now, but also way more because this is the Netherlands. We have a huge Moroccan and Turkish demographic. You need those are people that are all missing. You have maybe there's you know because it's weird. Probably as a black person, you're going to use a topic that's more closer to you, and then you go to these professors and they are like asking you really weird questions. So that's what I meant like you don't want to go to a space and then your identity is constantly being questioned and stuff like that. I know a lot of people left university and other art institutions because of that, because they would present an idea and they would notice it was other shittier projects got passed without a lot of questions, but their thing, although they have everything very good mapped out and so on, they are being blocked. They're being asked too many questions. And this is also what I mean, like, as a black person, you don't have to do 3 times the work. It's not fair. You're not being included. You're being forced to do... So yeah, I think the greatest thing would be if we ourselves create something for ourselves, make our own institutions. And I think this is honestly where we are going to. I think a lot of people are realizing we can't keep relying on institutions that are hundreds of years old and are built on racism to then do also the work of including us and including us in the proper way if we have all the means to do it already for us properly. It's just hard because people who want to do it for themselves or for their community, they are faced with a lot of shit by white supremacy again. Yeah. So I just hope that people come more together, band together, help each other, and just say like, fuck all of this, fuck them. I don't know if I'm allowed to swear actually, but yeah, at this point I'm like, I don't want to be part of your white institutions anymore. That's just it.
Yeah. But I have to say though, for example, we had like art theory and like a super cool teacher, Andre Klein, and like he was the first teacher to really like, he spoke a lot about colonialism and really about, just the state actually and how we're only focusing on white art history actually and really making all the white students also aware of that, you know? And that was nice actually, like, the whole like colonialism and all these things. It's for the first time that I'm really hearing like teachers speaking about this. Before I never had that, and like also not there were schools where I had like black teachers or something. But and we had like this black student union. I don't know what it's called again, Uncut or something. But they also I think last year they managed or they got the institution to buy like a lot of black books, you know, like written by black authors.
They've invested in it, or
so we have like a pretty big library, and then we just had like a whole shelf of like I don't know, just really important books that also should be there, you know. But like I don't know, before it was never there. But there's really like a small group of people, really like
who are always doing the work and are always but should we move on to the next question?
I don't know, like I thought it before, but it was like the smaller I don't know how you call it, gemeenteraadsverkiezing or something. And this is going to be actually like the first time that I'm really going to vote for like the big vote or something. I don't really know how to call it. But yeah, I don't know. I just checked like this this voting guide thing, and just saw like what is like the viewpoints of some of the, I don't know, some of the topics of some certain political parties, and just based on that I was like, okay, maybe this one, maybe that one. But I'm also like I do like I assist with a radio program in Hilversum, like a couple Sundays in the month with this guy Prem, and now he's like inviting every week like politicians, yeah, from like all these different parties, and to just like talk with them. And that's for me the first time actually seeing people, you know, really, and really seeing somebody like a spokesperson from that thing, really talking about personal thing. And like, I think that was actually also really helpful for me, and to sort of see, because otherwise I only just see like letters, you know, like CDA, blah, 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 this PVDA, like I don't see them actually as humans or something, in a way.
Yeah, I get what you mean, because they're just, you just see them on the TV at some point, and then they just disappear when there's a scandal and they have to step down or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was somebody who was really convinced of voting for when I was growing up. I really believed in all of it, and I think just because I wanted to so much believe that you can make a change with that. Now I have realized that voting is just one part of it. So if somebody votes every 3 years and think they have done the most to change society, you voted one time. It's not really enough. Also, to not condemn people who don't vote, because it's your own decision. Maybe you really didn't feel represented by anybody who is up there, you know. A lot of politicians talk very vague, you know. So, oh, we're gonna improve the economy, you know. We're gonna hire this many people. Where? What from? Who? Are you talking about me? Which job? Yeah. You know, I think a lot of people just see politics as always like very this vague, big things, and all these people in suits. Why are all these politicians constantly in suits if the everyday person is not in suits? How are we supposed to relate to a politician? Like, I think there are so many things that are wrong with politics, and why so many people, especially young people, don't feel like voting. You don't see, for example, it takes a really long time for a young person to even make it into a political position. Why is that? Why don't we have more voices of young people in the parliament itself, you know? I think young people have over and over proven that they're very competent and understand politics enough if you give them the space. In terms of voting, I think we can put like some links in the thing, for example, to vote particularly for women. I think that's important. I don't know if anybody follows the Black Archives, but they the other day posted a very provocative, I would say, picture about like how many black people are in the Tweede Kamer in the Netherlands. 0. That's also problematic. Why would you? I think that's like one of the things where people then again don't feel like, why would I vote? There's nobody who's representing me, you know. Yeah. In the Netherlands, that has still control over the ABC Islands and Suriname and so on, but you have you have hardly any black people in your chamber. How are you politicians and think this makes sense? And then we as people are supposed to watch you and think like, oh yeah, it's good. You know, it doesn't make sense. But at the end of the day, there are still a lot of people who are putting a lot of effort in the political way of improving things, and I think people can always support those people because they're doing, like, for example, Sylvana Simons. I was really impressed to hear that somebody like her built a party and is doing really great things. For example, so yeah. I talked a lot, but I wanted to say just one more thing. Yeah. Because the other day I had a friend of mine saying like, oh, who should I vote? I want to be neutral. I want to vote somebody neutral, because he said like, yeah, just vote Bayan or something. He was like, no, I want to vote neutral. I said like, well, an anti-racist party is neutral. That's neutrality. If you want to vote somebody who's neutral, you vote for somebody who cares for everybody, and not just for somebody who cares for white Netherlanders, or I don't know, only about money, or I don't know. But you vote for a party that cares for everybody. And yeah, I also, there are like 37 parties registered for this vote, so that's also very confusing. So yeah, what I wanted to say is what shocked me was that more than 10 of the parties are registered as right-wing. So more than 10 of the parties that are up for election are registered as right-wing or far-right. There are a lot that are like center-right. And there are maybe like 4 parties that are registered as left-wing. So what is happening in the Netherlands? You know, like look at your country. You are saying you are under attack by political correctness and by da 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 da. You have 14 parties that are right-wing, and for me, a center party is also right-wing, because if you're not actively against racism, you are racist, period.
Yeah.
That's all.
No, also, how you were talking about representation and the ABC Islands, for example. So at this radio show, he always starts off by the politicians. So just first, like, okay, just introduction. And then the first question he asks, so what are your standpoints and your policy for the ABC Island? And most of the people there, they are just like, they're fucked, you know? They're super, like, they didn't think about it at all, you know? They didn't have any plan. Well, they actually still also, you know, like, they also make decisions for that, you know? Well, they're, like, completely not aware, actually, of the whole thing. And it's super, confronting for them. But just shows, actually, how much... I don't know how much of these parties really have just their own goal or their own thing, or just like, I don't know. They don't, I think, at least for me, like most parties, I don't feel like they really represent the whole of Netherlands, like the complete Netherlands, you know? Everything is connected to it, actually.
I even think it's weird that as a political party you can enter when you don't have the whole of the Netherlands and all its people in mind. How are you a political party because I thought as a politician, that's your job, to care for everybody who is in that country. Documented, undocumented, with a Dutch passport or not. You know, humans that are all living in a country and that all need to live together, and you should care for all of them and have all of them have the same rights and same type of thing. And I just find it weird that in this democracy that we are living in, people don't have the same rights. And you are voting parties that are actively pursuing to keep that this way.
Yeah.
So vote for a party that doesn't want to do that. That's all I can say. If you want neutrality, vote for a party that's anti-racist. That's all I can say.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like the whole thing with the VR here, when they were situated in the what was the name? Klievering? Or I don't know, but when they were in this garage and just with just all these tents and stuff, I thought it was really like, I don't know, I couldn't believe that something like that was like in the Netherlands or just in Amsterdam in this state, you know, like really, and sort of like the municipality, like the gemeente knowing about this and then still, I don't know, not doing anything, seeing that people really are like this desperate to just live and just be somewhere, to be able to sleep even outside in a cold, moist garage, you know, like it's really was crazy actually. Like also especially like how you were talking about this office spaces, like so many buildings around us are like empty, like that. Yeah.
Like through whole neighborhoods that were just empty office buildings. I don't understand.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
But like the whole actually also like I feel in in the Netherlands in general, people are even more rude or not empathic to homeless or to refugees or to anyone who has who's like struggling in any kind of way. Like I don't understand how you can like you sleep in your warm bed in your warm house and stuff, and then you get angry because a homeless dude is sleeping in your hallway or something, you know? Like how the fuck are you gonna complain about that? Why you?
I think for me, like coming to the Netherlands and then noticing you have barely any people who are on the streets begging for money, you don't see a lot of homelessness. And then I found out it was because it's illegal kind of to be homeless, right? So I was like, wow. And like every time I have people come to Vienna and then you have a lot of, you see way more the people who are begging, they're like, you see how Dutch people get uncomfortable. I noticed they get a bit uncomfortable. They're like, oh my God, there are people asking me for money. And I think Dutch people are very stingy. And I think that comes down to their policies. They are very stingy when it comes also to people who clearly need their help for such a long time. We are here as a group that exists for a very long time, and they get evicted multiple times a year. I'm like, you have the energy to evict these people multiple times a year, pay police multiple times a year to evict these people, but you don't have the money, the means, and the time to accommodate people. Also, when there was the snowstorm, suddenly in my neighborhood at the supermarket, there were a lot of people, and I was to my partner like, hey, I noticed that our regular beggars are not around. You know what's up? He said the government threw out all the homeless people just the day after the cold was over, but the street was still icy, you know?
Yeah.
Why are you doing that? It's just fucked up. And I definitely think there's enough space in Amsterdam, and you don't need to make the prices so high, and you don't need to think...
Yeah, true. Also, I met this guy from Ghana in Rotterdam when I was filming a project, and he was living in the park next to the new institute. And I just stayed in contact with him and like went sometimes chilled with him. But he also like was already here for like, I don't know, like 15 years or something, living illegally, like undocumented. And he actually like almost had to die before he really got help, because he got like bronchitis from like smoking random cigarette butts and shit. And then he actually like ended up in the intensive care, and then they were really like, okay, no, so you don't have documents, so but yeah, as soon as you get in the sort of healthcare system or in the system, you know. But yeah, it's really like it's crazy that it has to go really so far until really you become like someone that needs help from the government.
And I think for like everyday people, it's very hard, because I think the Dutch government is very good at hiding all these things, of all the inequalities, of all the problems going on. I think that for everyday people, it's very, very hard to understand all the things and do something against it. And yeah, again, what you can do is only more community-led initiatives, but it's not enough. It's not enough.
Yeah.
I'm just mad. Europe will take everything from Africa and every other country except its people. Everything you eat, you can't have a phone, your microphones, your film, everything, all the metals, everything is from Africa or China or somewhere else. Nothing grows here, but you don't want to let humans who breathe and live and have dreams and everything have...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, also like yesterday I had class, like we got like this guest teacher, a good friend of mine, Wes Mapes. He's from Oakland, also like African American, and he was like, yeah, when he came here, he was like, I'm not gonna fucking pay for spices, man. You stole this shit from us, you know. Think I'm gonna pay for some cinnamon, you know, 3 euros and shit, you know.
No,
but yeah,
I get really mad. Just yesterday, my partner had a book and he showed me how much gold was extracted from Ghana alone. Like I'm half Ghanaian, and I was just thinking like, the gold, Shammah, the gold, the gold they stole from us, bro. They're rich now. It's all thievery. Thieves, all of you. But yeah,
yeah, it's crazy. Also the art, everything, you know, like.
Museums.
Yeah, and they still even like it's crazy that even now when there's really this awareness and people know it, it's still there, you know, like.
Shammah is about to laugh because the other day I was like, the audacity, the audacity. The audacity is so strong.
Yeah.
I really think that Ghana has not already got their, how we say it, the money, but that the colonial countries did not pay them back, or the colonial people, because they were still colonized.
Yeah, because they're so colonized.
Ja, ik weet niet goed het woorden, maar dat
They're still colonized, only they're not using the word
No,
colonial.
no.
that's it.
The thing is, like, I think what's the most fucked up is, like, I did political science, and then I learned about how the West basically paid off FBI agents to go into Africa and start giving people money to start coups. Multiple great leaders in have been assassinated when they wanted to bring Africa to wealth, and that's still true today. I mean, yeah, Gaddafi. I mean, he wasn't perfect. Fuck, he had his thing, but he had his flaws. You can say that, but he was in power for a very long time, and he only started getting dangerous when he said, "I want to make a currency that's based on gold." And then they were like, "We only have the gold we've stolen so far. We don't even know how much more gold these people have on this land, because where's all this gold coming from?" There's even like they even thought like that Ghanaians have a way to grow gold themselves, because they were so like, how do these people have so much gold, right? So I don't know. What was the question? I don't know, the audacity.
Yeah.
I really can't.
It's just like so many actually like long-lasting problems and like crises actually that are still ongoing, but they only just get like their some hype, you know, like it's a trend almost, you know, to be sort of thinking or worrying about it, and then if everyone else is not really paying attention to it anymore, the other people are also like, okay, so it's probably not important anymore. Like it's not happening anymore, but.
I think what's unfortunate with things that are going on in Africa is that kind of like through the West constantly portraying Africa in a light that it's constantly in a state of emergency. There's always something going on. When there's like a particular movement, I think, going on, I think around where people try to mobilize around it, but I think like people who are not directly from the continent and don't know that these images you see every day of like kids with flies, and this is not how people in the regular everyday they live. So for them it's kind of like, oh, it's just another issue going on in Africa. So I think a lot of people don't take it as serious as they are supposed to take it. And as you said, a lot of these issues are like there for a very long time, and I think people try to use this initiative of the Black Lives Matter movement have gained so much traction that they also really try to, again, from a different angle, like, hey, we also need attention, we also need this stuff to end. But like I said, it goes under the general news media constantly portraying Africa only with the negative things and hardly ever mentioning all the great inventions and the great things people do. That's never, if you go to BBC, CNN, Africa, look at the things they're going to show for those countries. It's only, so I think through that it's fucked up, but it loses traction.
Yeah, and that's really the thing about framing, and just like what you say, you click on Africa, you see only these things, you know. But also the same in if you look at any Dutch news site, you click on Southeast, you also only see the like all the fucked up shit, you know, but there's so many great shit happening.
I mean, it's 2021. People still ask me, like, you know, what people still will think when I say, oh, I booked an Uber in Ghana, they were like, oh, you can book an Uber in Ghana? Internet? This is it. Of course, but this is still like, I think for most people, the West has been very successful with portraying these places in this kind of light, so that when even more fucked up shit happens, people are just like kind of numb to it because they're like, oh, this is what we're used to from Africa, which is fucked
Yeah.
up. For people who come from there and know that this is actually not the daily news, you know. But yeah.
But there is also fucked up things going on there, but also good things.
Yeah.
And it's also nice to see that people are also going back to show through their own camera how it really looks and not through
Yeah.
BBC or other programs. So that is very nice.
But I mean, for everybody, Google yourself. Try and Google, for example, when I Google Ghana news, before a Ghana news channel will come, BBC, CNN, even a French newspaper that writes something about Ghana will come on the top first Google searches before a Ghanaian newspaper, and that's for most non-Western countries the case. And that's how also you get all this misinformation and this very skewed information. Like if you look at news, you're not like getting real news, you're still getting the news from the Western perspective. And then, you know, then that's also kind of hinders you again from taking those movements as far as you should take them, I think, you know, because I can see in the way they are writing, then they're kind of like blaming it on the people itself. But I think we know at this point that a lot of issues we have in Africa, they are still the result of colonialism and how you fucked over all the people and separated them and divided them and all those type of things in a, yeah. I talk so much.
And how do you see your
There's a lot of black people here can't afford to go to Ghana. Also, it's like, I don't know, my mom has to save for 2 years and then we go, save 2 years and then we go. I think that's the case for a lot of black people here because of white supremacy. I know a lot of black people that have never been to Africa.
I've never been. Yeah, definitely. Like, it's like on my to-do list, like one of the first places,
Yeah.
or like one of the first continents I would like to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all I can say is like really, really go. I've really seen like when I take my friends and they touch African soil for the first time, you can see like everything changes. Like their mind opens. So like all these ideas I had before, you have to wipe them immediately because it's nothing of what you've been told here in the West is true. And then you land there, it's different.
Yeah. Very welcome. They can follow me on Instagram, DallaJ, DALLAJEE.
I'm also on Instagram, Mercy Kubik. There you can also find my website and stuff. It's Mercy, like the French thank you, and then Kubik, Kubik, I think. It will be probably just in the thing. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Thank you too, Eunice.